What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We planned on having some sort of Corvette on the channel and kind of do some things to it, and turns out that didn't happen. Last video I made, it was about obtaining a C6 Corvette. I was in the parking lot with the gentleman about to buy the supercharged C6 LS2. Perfect. The crank pulley was already swapped over. All the like nooks and crannies that those things have kind of an issue with was already fixed. Then I actually understood that the mileage was different on the dashboard than it was on the ECU. Big red flag. So instead of all this private sale and going back and forth and looking at other Corvettes, I took a break. Probably save up till like next spring or summer to get a C7. My wife and I went around and test drove some Corvettes, and we fell in love with the C7. And I think that's the one that we're gonna get. So about next spring, you'll probably see a nice C7 Grand Sport. But let me show you what we have in the meantime. You guys might love this, or you guys might hate it. That's right, baby. The 2001 GMC Sonoma. Really, the only bits of rust we have on here is here. Oh, and we got some dents and dings up here on top. I don't know where that came from, but that could be all straightened out. And this tailgate like fell off or something, like flew off while driving, and it was just scraped on the ground. Some dents and dings over here. No rust on the wheel well on this side, but what we do have on this side is that third door, but otherwise everything else is pretty clean. Now, when I purchased it, the owner said, hey, I think it has a bad head gasket. It's overheating a lot. And I thought to myself, is there coolant in the oil? No. Is there oil on the coolant? Not that I'm aware of. So when I went to go pick it up, it didn't seem like that was the case either. So what I did was I removed the thermostat and just ran the engine cold the entire way home until about 10 miles away from my house. The thing completely cut power, overheated. Hoping I didn't overdo it and damage the holy heck out of this engine because it did overheat. It was smoking a little bit and it wasn't starting back up. But I do think I fouled up the spark plugs because when I did pull them, they were wet, oily, which tells me that that oil is getting in the combustion chamber. Maybe we're losing oil. Maybe that it's the head gasket issue. The only way to really find out is to open her up and see what we can find. So I've already taken the liberty of taking off all the top end plastic stuff for the air intake. And I mean, the inside is pretty darn clean, guys. I mean, it's pretty good. The only thing is the center console, but the back included some new parts that I'll probably never use. But for the most part, for this age of a truck, this is pretty clean. Pretty clean. All right. So as you can see, I already have things pulled out here. But look at this. When I pulled these, look at this. Look how this is such a strange problem I've never seen before. Look at that. It's just falling apart. These boots are absolutely gone. This is the only one that is kind of normal, but all the rest of them are like, just brittle. I don't know what happened to them. Now, this isn't like a DIY or like showing you how to fix anything, so I'm not gonna really show you all these steps of like removing things. What I'm going to be doing is just solely focusing on finding how much damage are we really caused or have we caused on this engine. And that'll give us a good idea on what to order as far as parts. Because I don't want to just order parts and just throw parts at it like a parts lottery and hoping something fixes it, right? All right, check this out. Look how brittle the aluminum is. You're not evacuating any heat on that. Look at that. So, radiator's toast. Look at this. This part I didn't even touch right here. Never touched this. Look at this. Yeah. Radiator's a bust. All right, radiator's out. That was actually really easy. So that's one part in our list that we need to get. This is so bad. And the AC condenser looks okay for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit of something going on over there. What's that about? I was told that the AC doesn't even work, so maybe this is where a leak is happening. Yeah, I'm thinking thinking we got a leak. AC condenser as well. Well, welcome to this episode of Fuck It, Let's LS Swap It. Got a lot of things taken apart here. I'll update when I have the motor removed, so that way I can go through some of the steps. This is going to turn into, I guess, a DIY LS Swap S10 Sonoma series. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and once we get the engine removed from the transmission, I got at least, I think, everything unplugged from it except for the fuel lines. And once it's separated from the transmission, we can pull this sucker out of here. And then we have open game to the frame. And then we'll start light sanding it down. And then we can cover it up with some Eastwood rust paint. There's like a rust paint. This is all surface rust, obviously, but you know, there's nothing rusting through or anything like that. So it's in pretty damn good shape. So once we get some sort of paint to protect from future rust, and also to make it look good too, we're just going to do this front portion of the frame just to make everything good, and then we'll maybe even spray the firewall down, make that all look good. Yeah, I think this is turning into like a whole project. Damn. I'm getting some water into the steering gearbox here, and some of the steering components are really worn out, and even the upper control arms. Look at these bushings. Jeez, seen better days. Completely shot, really. We'll probably remove upper and lower control arms next, have this frame up on jack stands, so that way we can get access to all this and basically paint over everything. Well, I mean, we'll media blast everything first and then paint over it. It'll bond better on, you know, prepped metal rather than over the rust, even though it still will apply over the rust. But just want to make sure that I'm doing my own due diligence to make sure that it's a more permanent solution. And I have all my parts. This is why I love pickup trucks. Look at this. I got all my parts right in the bed. Want to go back to putting things back together? All my parts are on the bed. They're not laying around anywhere. It's just right here. Excellent. I love it. I'm kind of nervous that I just turned this into a full-blown project restoration of this truck rather than just fixing it and rolling with it. But I kind of miss having a project, or kind of miss working on stuff since I sold the Charger, and I was going to buy a 68 Camaro, and then that fell through. And then I was going to buy a C6 Corvette, and then that fell through. And then, So this is where we're at. There's several people that sell wiring harnesses, some that even sell wiring harnesses. They're all like very plug and play and easy to use all the factory gauges and everything. So I'm probably going to go that route, and then probably get like a 4.8, 5.3, or a 6-liter LS, and then just throw that puppy in there. They sell mounts. They have a more narrow steering shaft, so that way it fits better. The brake booster's very large, but we don't have to really get rid of it. It'll fit regardless. I know that there's been several reports of people saying, "Oh, just get rid of it and go to manual brakes or whatever." It's going to be a pretty interesting project, guys. I'm kind of excited about it. We were going to fix a head gasket issue and inspect some damage on the engine. We found that head gasket, as soon as I pulled the head off, head gasket, there's coolant in the cylinder. So no wonder we were having some issues. So we were burning off coolant. Radiator was like trashed. So we got kind of a hefty project ahead of us. And I think I'm just going to use this opportunity to just have this project. I'm going to kind of film a lot of the steps from here on out. I know this one was a little bit random, and kind of you get to see like what led up to saying, you know, screw it, I'm just going to do a whole new restoration project. The AC system actually had zero pressure in it when I checked it. So I removed all the AC components, and there was no like hissing or any air escaping. So I was like, this is weird. All right. It was never pressurized to begin with. So that's where we're at with that. The AC never worked in the truck, so there was never an expectation of the AC working. So we're just going to keep it deleted for now. We can add on later and just kind of whatever, maybe just have the blower fan and just have it for heat only. Okay, fast forward to now. We have a lot of the heavy rust areas kind of sanded down. It looks a little sloppy right now, but I was just focusing on more of the very rusty areas to just kind of prep it for a product that we're about to use that I'm uncertain about, but we'll see what happens. And the product is called Pour 15. Apparently you can paint directly over rust. But it does say in the instructions that it's a little bit easier if you just prep everything. It's in gloss black. So we're gonna try this out. This is just a quart. This is about 50 bucks, so that's crazy. So I better be getting what I'm paying for. All right, we're ready to try this out. My son was supposed to help me. I told him he's more than welcome to help me, but for whatever reason, he was in a school project for theater, and he was like, "Dad, I've been painting for 3 days straight, these past 3 days. I don't want to paint anymore." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll be out there. If you come and help me, then you come and help me." Got some gloves from Home Depot. Gonna need that because I guess if you get any of this stuff on you, it does not go away for like weeks. We also have these cheapo 3-inch brushes. This is just to brush it onto the frame, and that's what we're gonna be doing. All right, so the paint isn't completely dry, but it is kind of like dried to the point of tacky, so it'll bond a little bit better on the second coat. So we're gonna put on a second coat on this sucker. All right, it's the next day. It's nice and dry. Ooh, dry to the touch. It was nice. Very nice finish on this. Highly recommend this product. It smells like crap, but I mean, some of it looks a little sloppy, but the main priority here is to block any further rust from happening. And so now we have a frame that is going to be hopefully rust-free for years to come. And now it'll be ready for our suspension bits that are on the way, should arrive today. All right, and then here is the suspension kit that we got for the Sonoma. This is a 2-3 drop. This is from Summit Racing. I already submitted a request to return the product because I quickly found out that it's better to get the 98 to newer Chevy Blazer spindles, because if we end up upgrading our brakes with these factory spindles, it's going to be a mess, because then we have to get new hubs that can fit bigger rotors and brackets that'll fit bigger calipers. If you get the 98 to newer spindles, you can throw on, say, like, you know, stock Corvette or Camaro rotors and calipers, just bolt in place. So we're gonna be returning this. We're gonna get 98 to newer front spindles, drop spindles, 2-inch, and then we'll get 3-inch on the rear. So that way it's all nice and leveled out. It's not slammed. It's just like nice for handling and retaining the factory suspension geometry. So we'll be returning this. We are going to go with a different kit. So yeah, join us on the next video. The next video is going to be basically the suspension for the upper lower control arms. We went with a factory style because tubular control arms, it just seems like too much money for, you're not really getting much improvement out of it. So we're gonna go with the factory style upper and lower control arms. Then we're gonna go with the Blazer spindles. Once we return that, we're gonna order Blazer spindles, but we'll just throw on the control arms. We're gonna reuse the factory springs. We're just gonna give them a nice fresh coat of paint, and then we're getting new shocks up front too. So we'll be installing all that, and then hopefully by like next week, we'll have the wheels back on it and we'll have it lowered back down. We plan on, I just found out that 4L60E has a different bell housing that won't bolt up to a V8. So maybe it's best that we just remove it, sell it, and then just get like a run-of-the-mill on Facebook Marketplace 4L60E from a Camaro or something, and then throw that in there. So that's kind of the plan right now in my head. So, you know, whatever happens. Maybe something changes down the road. Maybe there's a fork in the road that something changes. But in the meantime, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to basically do a simple LS swap, automatic transmission still, keep the, retain the factory gauges, this, that, and the other thing. We will be keeping the brake booster, because the brake booster, it's like manual brakes, it's cool, but it's not for me. I don't want to be sitting there driving on the road and feel like I have to slam my foot into the ground just to stop, to be honest. So, I'd rather have just more of a comfortable ride, hence why we're not like slamming it to the ground and doing all this other nonsense. I did that to my Charger and kind of like lost like comfort in the ride quality. So, and this is going to be kind of like a going around, and it's going to be like used for like a media truck, like for our media company, and it's going to be used for like going and running errands at the hardware store. It's going to be kind of like a daily street truck driver. So that's the plan with it. So I guess see you guys on the next one. Suspension bits.